We have an update. Remember the grandma who was the emergency contact who refused to walk across the street to pick up her grandkids on time from school because the mom was stuck across town at a doctor's appointment? They're back to let us know how it's going. So just a quick refresher in case, because it's been a while, so in case you either haven't seen the first video or you have no clue what I'm talking about, we have a grandma, a mother-in-law, who shares a house with the listener, her husband, and 2 kids. It's a very big house. It's the mother-in-law's house. She stays home, doesn't work, is literally home all day. She doesn't go anywhere. According to the listener, she's always there, always available. So they did put her in as the emergency contact, feeling like, yeah, I mean, if we literally live across the street and she never leaves the house, so this will be perfect. Well, there came a day where the listener needed her mother-in-law to help out, and she refused. And she refused not because she was busy, not because she was sick, but because she does not agree with their decision to put the kids in this preschool program. She believes like they should be home with the mom, that it runs too late. She just has a whole list of complaints with this, even though they're so lucky to have it right there. And she's just like, you're a stay-at-home mom. You don't need to be doing this stuff. That's why she refused. So the listener and her mother-in-law, they didn't talk for over a month. Finally, the husband tried to mend the bridge. He called his mom, is like, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have treated her that way. You shouldn't have said all those judgmental comments. And then he told his wife that he had a solution. His solution for this whole debacle, plus all the other things that his mom was doing in terms of crossing boundaries and not listening to them, was to present his mom with a boundaries list. And then they showed me the list, and on the list, it was basically the mother-in-law was going to have to change a whole bunch of stuff about herself, which, as we know, that's not a boundary. Those are requests. A boundary is what you will change on your behavior. For example, I told them, if your mother-in-law is refusing to go across the street to pick up the kids in case of an emergency, she would no longer be on my emergency contact list. She wouldn't be that person if she can't be relied on. If my mother-in-law, this is another example of what she was doing, if my mother-in-law was having the kids watch videos on the phone and your rule is no screen time, I would have family visits instead, because when they would walk into the room, the mother-in-law would be like, oh, quick, hide the phone. Mom and dad are coming in. Grandma doesn't want to get in trouble. Stuff like that. Not cool. Another thing they shared, and what I shared in the first video, was this mother-in-law, this grandma, she's not your typical nurturing maternal figure. In fact, she's not even the person who raised this listener's husband. His grandparents did. She could never kind of step up to the plate when it came to responsibilities. She just couldn't do it, so the grandparents did. And I pointed out, that's interesting that she has never shown herself to be responsible, yet you guys are expecting her to be responsible. So maybe it's because you're looking at her thinking, well, you're older now, you should know better. But she's shown you that she's not responsible and she isn't able to step up to the plate to listen to what kind of foods you want to serve your kids and all this stuff. So my advice in the first video was, accept your mother-in-law for who she is. And it doesn't sound like she's a responsible babysitter, but it does sound like she's one heck of a fun grandma when they're all together as a family. The kids worship this woman. They love her so much. And that's why she wants to protect this relationship. That's why the listener reached out in the first place, because she's like, if my kids didn't adore her, sayonara. I don't really care. But the fact that they really love her, I want to figure out what boundaries are and how we can make this work. All right, so that was the first video. And that was my advice, is to change the boundaries, so they understood what they were, change their behaviors, accept this woman for who she is, and appreciate her strengths, and stop setting her up to fail, which means stop putting her in positions where she is the responsible one, because she has proven over and over her entire life that she's incapable of that, but she's a really fun grandma. Allow her to be in environments where she can be a really fun grandma. All right, the update. Again, in January, this daughter-in-law needed her to help her pick up the kids. And again, rather than just say no, she said no. And then she added a whole bunch of judgmental comments. They shouldn't be over there. You're a stay-at-home mom. It's too late. They should be home with you. They're too little. And it was just a big mess. Ever since then, again, the daughter-in-law and mother-in-law have not talked. The mother-in-law is only talking through the husband. And about a month ago, he reached out to his mom because I guess this entire time, the only time they get together or the mother-in-law even sees the kids is if the daughter-in-law reaches out and sets it up. And she decided after this whole school thing, I'm done. I'm not going to be the coordinator and the person setting up this relationship anymore. Like, if you want a relationship with these grandkids, you need to take responsibility. So she tapped out, and the husband called his mom to let him know, hey, this is going to be on you now. Again, a responsibility. So he let her know, if you want to have a relationship with the kids, all you have to do is call or basically walk down the hallway and knock on our door and, see when you can see the kids. And at the time, she's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. But she hasn't. So that's been over a month. This listener's like, I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea. My kids miss their grandma. They're asking about her almost daily, like, where's grandma? And she won't call for the kids. All right, so here is my 2 cents. First of all, I would make sure conversations about your household, any kind of talk about your family, you and your husband are present when he's talking to his mom. I think it's really important that she sees you as a team. So that's one thing I would shift if this were my family. The next thing I would shift is my mindset. I get it. You don't want to be the coordinator. You don't want to be the one lifting and holding up this relationship. And I mean, we already have so much, like we carry such a mental load for our family and we have so much on our plate. And your kids adore this woman. Your kids love her. And you've admitted that when you guys are together as a family, she's phenomenal. It's just she falls apart when she is forced to be the responsible one. She's not responsible. So that's why I said always do family visits. So if my kids are wondering where grandma is and they're missing their grandma and you know that she's really good for them, I would, since you're stay at home, she's stay at home, if it lands on you, particularly, or for me, I would definitely be calling my mother-in-law and inviting her over. And I would change my mindset and say, okay, this isn't a burden. This is me giving my kids a gift because they really love her and they get a lot out of the relationship. So maybe I'm not doing it for her necessarily, but I'm doing it for them. And it's really important that kids have relationships with their grandparents, especially ones where they're really bonded to and they really love, and they really love her. I say this because some people at some points in our life, well, we all have this. We all have mistaken beliefs that we've told ourselves when we were yay high, and we still function on those beliefs. So we could tell ourselves something at 7 years old and we're still operating like that's the truth. And we said that to ourselves at 7. Like we still think it's a fact. Your mother-in-law may not even realize that she has these mistaken or false beliefs or narratives about herself. For example, my mom is 80 years old and she still fears that she's a burden. Even though all of her children, we all adore her, she's a saint, we just love her. She still fears that if she calls to invite us out to dinner or sets up a family gathering, that she will be a burden. And so still to this day, she won't do it. And the only time I guess we did get together as a family was because of my dad. And so once he passed away, our family kind of fell apart. But it's so ingrained in her at such a young age that she's a burden, that she just can't do it. So any family gathering, it's kind of like me in the background pretending to be my mom, getting everybody together. But I'm just wondering if maybe your mother-in-law also has a narrative that she's a burden or something, some kind of lie that she told herself when she was little, because it seems like she has a lot of fun with these kids and the kids love her. So I guess if this were my mother-in-law, I would have some more compassion. I would know that she's probably dealing with something more than beyond what I can see. And I would do it for my kids. I would have compassion for my mother-in-law. I would make sure that I'm there and present for all the conversations going forward so she sees us as a team. And those are the things that I would change, and that is the update. I hope I got it all in. It's hard when I do updates because there's just so much to recap and then include, but I hope that this is helpful.